Hi everyone, I'm finishing up the second page of the album here, and I had just sprayed it with some glimmer mist, and there were a couple areas that were a little more blotchy, clumpy than I wanted, so I just wiped at them with a baby wipe until they looked the way I wanted, and now I'm hitting it with a heat gun to get it dry, and I'm going to ink the edge in Colorbox Fluid Chalk ink in Chestnut Roan. And now I'm making some tags to go in it. These are some more doodled tags from Autumn Leaves. I'm just stamping in Chestnut Roan on cream colored cardstock, and I'll be cutting them out with my scissors. While I have my ink out, I'm going to stamp this flourish, also from Autumn Leaves, all around the edge of this page, to give it a more fun look. So now I'm trimming out those journaling spots, and I decided to stamp some journaling lines on the back as well, and I stamped them in Versamark on kraft cardstock, and then I embossed them in white embossing powder. Now this is that piece from the beginning. I'm just putting some pop dots on it, and I'm going to be sticking the tags behind it. It's going to hold the tags on the page, or the journaling spots on the page, and I'm going to tie them together with this beautiful brown satin ribbon. It's really pretty. It's actually variegated color, sort of like an ombre look. It's darker on one edge than on the other. And I tried to tie a bow, but we all know how that goes in my scrap room, so I gave up and just tied it in a knot. So this is how the page looks. Added a chipboard tag from Scenic Route, and then just stick my journaling spots back there. And she could put a photo behind the journaling spots if she wanted more photos. So I'm getting started on the next page. I'm putting down this damask paper, which I believe is from Karen Foster, and I think it's really old. I think this is from way back in the beginning of my stash. I don't even remember buying it, ever. So I punch my holes every time I do a new layer, because I've had problems where I've covered my holes up. More pages from The Quest for the Holy Grail. You can see how this one has highlighter on it. I found through experimenting that highlighter on one side of the page will not show through the other. So if there's highlighter on just one side of the page, I can still use the page because the highlighter doesn't bleed through. I'm just laying it down and trimming around the edges. Then I'm going to ink the edges. I'm doing some more stamping. I'm stamping this large damask from Inkadinkadoo. First I stamped it in Chestnut Roan, then I inked the same stamp in Versamark Watermark ink and stamped it again right over the top. And now I'm going to emboss it in clear. And this is how you can use an ink like a chalk ink, which isn't very good for embossing. You can still get that rich color that you want, and then still have an embossed shiny feel to it by just stamping over the original ink color with Versamark. So just making a photo mat here, and you'll see that I completely changed my mind about this entire page. Totally. And it's because I sprayed some glimmer mist on it, and I hated how it looked. So I'm just matting this piece. I think this paper is from SCI from a couple years ago. I'm just tying a brown and blue polka dot ribbon. And then here I had sprayed it, and it just got really muddy looking, and it wasn't shiny, and it just looked bad. So I'm covering it with this striped paper, which is from Scenic Route, and inking the edges. And now I'm going to put another piece of the Holy Grail. And that bookmark is actually a note that someone wrote me in college about a phone message. So that's just literally been in my book since college. So I'm thinking about doing something with it, maybe putting it on a page or something. So now I'm inking this edge here. This is the edge that's going to be on the inside of the page. I won't be able to get to it once this is glued down. And because there's words on it, I just want to be very careful about it being straight. So I'm trimming it off and inking the outside edges. Now I'm going to do some more stamping. This stamp is from Inkadoo. It's from their Thanksgiving set. I think it came out last year. And I think it says grateful. Yeah. And again, I did the two-step process where I stamped it in the color box chestnut roan first and then stamped over it in the Versamark so that I could emboss it. And there you can see the stamp coming to life. And now I'm making a accordion photo and journaling mat for the page, and I'm scoring at 2 1/4 inches back and forth, and then the paper is 3 1/4 inches wide, so that each fold in the accordion fold will be a mat for a 2x3 photo. And when I'm making albums for other people, which this album is for someone else, I try to make my photo mats 2x3 or 3x4 if it's a mini album, because that's half of a 4x6 and 25% of a 4x6. So there's no huge amount of editing that needs to be done. Just using my corner chomper to round the edges of the mat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tie it shut with a piece of twine. But first I'm going to do some other stuff to it. I'm going to ink all the edges. Every single edge got inked in color box fluid chalk ink and chestnut roan. And then I added journaling spots to it. But to prepare it for the twine, what I did is I put foam tape, because my twine is quite thick, I put foam tape on the back, and I pretty much covered the back mostly. I just left a channel down the middle. And the reason I left that is because, like I said, the twine is very thick, so it needs a place to just hang out. So that's where the twine will be. So now I'm rounding the corners of the grid paper that I've chosen for my journaling spots, and I'll be putting them inside. And I made every other one a journaling spot, so there was half photos and half journaling spots. So now I'm sticking it to the page and tying it shut with the twine, and that completes this page of the album, which is page 3. So stay tuned for more pages in the album.